Since 2008, when Iron Man opened the Marvel Universe, it's been 10 years up to Avengers 4. Two Marvel sci-fi films have set up many stunning scenes and characters. Fans have poured endless passion into their favorite heroes. As a gift in return, Endgame will show you sincerity and emotion. Everyone knows that in Avengers 3, Thanos collected all 6 Infinity Stones and with a snap, wiped out half of all life. Whether it was Captain America fighting on Earth or Tony struggling in space, they could only watch helplessly as their teammates vanished. In the end, only Tony and Nebula survived on Titan. While returning to Earth on the Guardian's ship, they ran out of fuel and were stranded in the vast universe thousands of light years away. Today marks their 22nd day of being trapped, making this perhaps the most helpless time in Tony's life. Due to prolonged malnutrition, Tony is now suffering. The food and oxygen on the ship are nearly depleted. Tony falls into despair, recording his last words. He closes his eyes, facing the dark universe, quietly waiting for death. Just then, a blinding light shines on Tony's face. He looks out the window in disbelief to see a figure capable of surviving in space. It turns out to be Captain Marvel, the reinforcement Nick Fury sent. Captain Marvel then uses her powers to drag the ship back to the Avengers headquarters. Captain America and others rush outside to find Captain Marvel carrying the ship back. Nebula helps the weakened Tony off the ship. Captain America hurries to greet Tony, whose first words are that he couldn't stop Thanos and lost the kid, just like he said in Spider-Man: Homecoming and Avengers 3. If something happened to Spider-Man, Tony would feel responsible. Now that Spider-Man has truly sacrificed himself, Tony's guilt and heartache are indescribable. Seeing Pepper, Tony finally feels some relief. Back at the base, Tony can no longer control his emotions. He had long wanted to arm Earth with his suits, but was opposed by Captain America and others, leaving them defenseless when the enemy arrived. Why can they only be Avengers and not preventers? Tony becomes more agitated, eventually ripping out his arc reactor and handing it to Captain America. Due to his weakened state and emotional turmoil, Tony soon passes out. Afterward, Captain Marvel prepares to seek revenge on Thanos. At a critical moment, Nebula reveals Thanos' retirement location, and Rocket detects an energy surge from the stones on an unknown planet 2 days ago. Everyone agreed to retrieve the gem and save everyone. With a goal, Thor regained his spirit. He tried to intimidate the team, but they didn't flinch. Rocket piloted the ship to find Thanos. After some scouting, they found no defenses, just Thanos alone. Thanos had retired to a farmer's life. When he went inside to cook, the team burst in, tackled him, and locked his neck. Banner emerged and grabbed the gauntlet, while Rogers held Thanos' other hand. Thor rushed in and chopped off his arm. But when Rocket flipped the gauntlet, the gem was gone. Thanos' goal was simple: solve the universe's resource scarcity. Now that his goal was achieved, the gem was just a temptation. 2 days ago, he used the gem's power to destroy it, nearly costing him his life. Now, the last hope was gone. Enraged, Thor chopped off Thanos' head. Though Thanos was dead, everyone was in endless sorrow because without the gem, they couldn't save a life. Thor turned away in despair. However, 5 years later, a rat changed everything. In an old warehouse, a rat activated the quantum tunnel, releasing Ant-Man from the quantum realm. Ant-Man was bewildered by the drastic changes. Missing person posters were everywhere, and parks were filled with memorials, including his name. He rushed home to check on his daughter, finding only her there. Seeing his grown daughter, Scott realized that time had already passed 5 years while he was in the quantum realm. He then went to the Avengers base and told Black Widow and Captain America about his experience. 5 years ago, he entered the quantum realm to gather energy, thus avoiding Thanos' snap. Upon returning, he discovered that time in the quantum realm operates differently, in a chaotic manner. In some places, time flows fast, in others slow, and in some, it syncs with reality. Scott proposed a theory. If they could master this pattern, they could enter the quantum realm at a specific time and exit at another, achieving time travel. But all this must be done by locating within the quantum realm, then getting the stones before Thanos and saving everyone. Scott knew this method was crazy, but it was the only way to save everyone. Black Widow and Captain America agreed. The method works, but they can't do it alone. These 5 years were Tony's happiest, living an ideal retirement with his love by the lake. They had a lovely daughter. But soon, this peace was broken. Some proposed time travel through the quantum realm to Tony, which might save the vanished. Tony didn't want to get involved with the Avengers anymore. He didn't want his wife and daughter to worry, and time travel is very risky, with a high chance of not returning. Tony thought Scott's return was a rare cosmic fluke. They had to find another genius, Dr. Banner. Over 5 years, Banner made big breakthroughs in gamma tech. Now, Banner had perfectly merged with Hulk, becoming Smart Hulk, a mix of strength and wisdom. Though time travel wasn't his field, after much persuasion, Banner decided to try. But the experiment didn't go well. They sent Scott back a week for testing, but he returned as a teen, then an old man, and even a baby. They had to cut the power to stop it. Meanwhile, Tony, after hearing Scott's plan, became distracted. Though he rejected the trio, He felt guilt and self-blame seeing a photo with Spider-Man. Clearly, Tony never let go of Spider-Man. Despite his words, his actions were honest as he tested the time travel model. Over 5 years, he thought of using time travel to fix things, but tests failed. Yet, Scott's idea led to success. When he brought the Pym particles, Tony was conflicted. He didn't want his wife and daughter to worry, but he couldn't ignore innocent lives. Pepper saw Tony's struggle and said, "Convincing you to stop is one of the few things I can't do." With his wife's support, Tony felt comforted. The next day, Tony returned to the Avengers base. Smart Tony guessed their experiment would fail. He told Cap it was because Scott wasn't traveling through time, but time was traveling through Scott. Tony brought his time travel locator, needed to travel to a specific time. He planned one last adventure. Tony also returned the shield to Cap, resolving their issues. Next, they needed to gather all the Avengers. Nebula and Rocket were first to return after hearing the news, with Rhodey close behind. Rocket and Hulk then went to a small Norwegian fishing village to find Thor, now New Asgard. After failing against Thanos, Thor became a recluse, drinking and gaming, turning into a couch potato. His weapon was now just a bottle opener. Seeing him, Rocket said Banner mentioned a chance to save everyone, needing Thor's help. Thor said he wouldn't go, but he knew the answer inside. Meanwhile, after Hawkeye's family vanished, he became a vigilante, taking down criminals worldwide. Many gangsters fell by his blade until Natasha found him, saying there's a chance to bring back everyone. Hearing this, Hawkeye returned to the base without hesitation. The remaining Avengers reassembled. With Rocket's help, Tony quickly built a time machine. The plan was simple. Go back in time and get the 6 stones without affecting the past. But time travel needed Pym particles, and they were scarce. This was Dr. Pym's tech, and no one else could make it. The remaining Pym particles were only enough for one round trip each, aside from testing. If wasted, the mission would fail. Before testing, Rhodey suggested finding baby Thanos and then Banner said changing the past won't change the future. The priority is to find the stones first. Hawkeye volunteered for the first test. Banner activated the quantum tunnel, sending Hawkeye to a time before Thanos struck. He heard his kids' voices at home, but the test ended before he saw them. Hawkeye was safely sent back to the base, bringing his son's baseball glove. Tony's tracker worked well. The experiment succeeded. Before leaving, they analyzed when and where all the Infinity Stones appeared in the past. Thor was called to explain the Reality Stones' history. The group decided to split into 3 teams to retrieve the stones from different times. They entered the time tunnel for their missions. Each team arrived in 2012 New York, where the Avengers fought the Chitauri. As they planned, past Hulk jumped out, not very smart, just smashing cars. Seeing peak Hulk, Banner felt awkward, wanting to find his groove, but then the Ancient One was. Banner came alone to find Doctor Strange, but the Ancient One told him he was 5 years early. Strange was still performing surgeries. Banner pointed to the time stone on his chest and tried to grab it, but the Ancient One knocked his soul out of his body. She explained that the 6 stones protect our timeline, and even one missing would cause a time branch, allowing dark forces to corrupt the timeline, leading to humanity's doom. Banner said if they returned the stones to the exact moment they were taken, it would be like they never left. The Ancient One hesitated until Banner mentioned that Strange willingly gave the time stone to Thanos in the future. Knowing Strange was the best sorcerer, she had her reasons. She returned Banner's soul to his body and gave him the time stone. Meanwhile, Tony and Scott quietly returned to Stark Tower. Loki had been captured, but a Hydra agent undercover in S.H.I.E.L.D. took Loki's scepter, and past Tony took the Space Stone. Scott had Tony send him to his past self. Past Hulk wanted to join the elevator but was refused. With Tony's intel, Cap re-entered the familiar elevator, and everyone grew tense. Would the elevator fight from Winter Soldier happen again? No. Cap smoothly tricked them and took the scepter, which held the Mind Stone. But he soon ran into his past self, who thought he was Loki. Cap had no choice but to fight. Cap reluctantly fought himself, battling from floor to floor. Future Cap used the scepter to subdue past Cap, leaving a remark before leaving. Meanwhile, Tony directed Scott to short-circuit his past self's reactor, causing chaos. They seized the Space Stone, but past Hulk accidentally knocked Tony over, and the Space Stone slid to Loki's feet. This move allowed Loki to escape. They had 2 stones, but lost the Space Stone. With limited Pym particles, Tony thought of a way to get both the Space Stone and more Pym particles. He and Cap used the remaining Pym particles to travel to 1970 New Jersey, where S.H.I.E.L.D. was founded. This is also where Captain America was born. In this era, young Dr. Pym created the first Pym particles and placed them with the Tesseract at S.H.I.E.L.D. After disguising themselves as staff, they split up. Tony quickly got the Tesseract and was about to leave when he ran into his father, Howard. Panicking, he made up an identity to get past Howard. This brief reunion let Tony feel his father's deep love, making up for years of regret. Meanwhile, Cap distracted young Dr. Pym and took the Pym particles. Before leaving, he saw Carter through the blinds. Though he wanted to stay, he knew saving the Vanished was the priority. Cap's side had 3 stones. Thor and Rocket went to Asgard in 2013, during Thor 2. Their mission was to get the Reality Stone from Jane. Rocket was planning, but Thor thought about stealing Odin's wine. His mother passed by. Thor knew she died today by the Dark Elves and lost control. Rocket slapped him, saying, "You can't change the past, but thousands need saving." Thor agreed but vanished. Rocket finished the mission. Thor was caught spying on his mom, who knew he was future Thor. He tried to tell her she'd die, but she said it was fate. Rocket got the Reality Stone. Thor took Mjolnir from this timeline. Meanwhile, they arrived on Morag in 2014. This is the Guardians of the Galaxy 1 timeline. They and Hawkeye went to Vormir for the Soul Stone. Rhodey and Nebula were to steal the Power Stone. They waited for Star-Lord. This timeline's Nebula and future Nebula shared memories, and Thanos noticed. He took past Nebula's memories and learned the Avengers' plan, seeing himself beheaded after his goal. He realized the Avengers wanted to reverse his actions. Star-Lord appeared, and seeing his dance, Rhodey knocked him out. Nebula took his key, opened the temple, and got the Power Stone. She told Rhodey to leave quickly. Because Thanos from this timeline is also after the stones, when they were about to return, Nebula suddenly collapsed. After waking, she rushed back to the ship to alert the Avengers that Thanos knew everything. But by then, Thanos had arrived and pulled Nebula's ship in. The 2 Nebulas from different times met. The past Nebula took the Pym particles from her. Thanos' plan was for Nebula to impersonate the future Nebula to infiltrate the Avengers. Meanwhile, Black Widow and Hawkeye reached Vormir. The Red Skull appeared again, and the method to get the stone was unchanged. To get the Soul Stone, one must sacrifice a loved one. In Infinity War, Thanos sacrificed his daughter Gamora. So, love here isn't just romantic, it can be familial or friendship. Black Widow and Hawkeye are the closest in the Avengers. When it was time to sacrifice, both were willing. Both wanted to sacrifice themselves. At the crucial moment, Black Widow rushed from behind and held on. At that moment, the outcome seemed inevitable. In the end, the Avengers lost another member. The world changed colors in an instant, and as a flash of light passed, Hawkeye woke up on the water's surface. He opened his palm, and the Soul Stone, which Black Widow exchanged her life for, was there. Now, all 6 stones were gathered. Everyone returned to the future, but Black Widow remained on Vormir forever. To honor her sacrifice, they decided to complete their mission immediately. Tony made a nano-infinity gauntlet and placed all 6 stones on it. But who would snap their fingers? Thor, with his beer belly, stepped forward, but the Avengers stopped him, thinking he wasn't in the right state. Finally, Banner stepped up, saying even lightning couldn't protect Thor because the stone's energy was mainly gamma rays, which Hulk could handle. It's like it was meant to be. So, everyone prepared for protection and isolated the room to prevent outside harm. Then Banner slowly put on the Infinity Gauntlet. The immense energy surged into his body, and the process was clearly painful, but Banner gritted his teeth and snapped to bring everyone back. After the snap, Banner's arm was burned, but Tony used nanomaterials to save it. Just then, Hawkeye's phone rang. It was his wife calling. They had succeeded, but a real disaster was coming. The past Nebula had returned to the future with them. She secretly activated the quantum tunnel while they snapped, setting the time to 2014. The past Thanos and his army were transported to the present. With just one encounter, the entire Avengers base was turned into ruins by Thanos' missiles. Banner, Rhodey, and Rocket were trapped under the debris. Ant-Man shrank in time to escape. Hawkeye found the gauntlet but was chased by aliens. However, Hawkeye is not just an archer but also an assassin, taking down pursuers while running. Meanwhile, 2014's Gamora curiously asked Nebula about the future. Nebula didn't reveal that future Gamora was killed by Thanos but said they became close sisters and fought side by side. After their conversation, Gamora teamed up with Nebula to fight Thanos. At this moment, past Nebula approached Hawkeye, who unknowingly handed her the gauntlet. Fortunately, past Gamora and future Nebula arrived in time. Segment 2, Nebula shot her past self and reclaimed the gauntlet. Outside the ruins, the 3 main Avengers faced Thanos again. Lightning struck Thor, who summoned Stormbreaker and Mjolnir. Thanos was disappointed with the Avengers' resistance and planned to destroy the universe to create a new one. Hearing this, the 3 didn't waste words, and the battle began. Thor attacked Thanos with Mjolnir, but Thanos used Tony as a shield, knocking him out. Despite their combined efforts, the 3 couldn't match Thanos' strength. As Thor was about to be struck by Thanos' axe, Mjolnir suddenly rose from the ground and flew at Thanos. To Thanos' surprise, it was Captain America who wielded it, launching a series of smooth attacks. Even with their best efforts, the 3 couldn't defeat Thanos. Thanos knocked Mjolnir away and shattered Captain America's shield. Thanos then sent his entire army to ravage Earth. Facing countless aliens, Captain America decided to fight to the end. As he marched forward, a familiar voice reached his ears. Suddenly, Doctor Strange's portal opened on the battlefield. Black Panther signaled to Captain America that they would win. More portals opened, and the heroes who vanished 5 years ago returned. Seeing the heroes return, Captain America shouted. Besides that explosive final battle, the largest in history, all superheroes gathered to stop Thanos' army. In the chaos, Ebony Maw ambushed and knocked down Bucky. Shot webs to trip Ebony Maw, and then Giant Man stomped him flat. Seeing Parker again, Tony warmly embraced him, releasing 5 years of guilt and responsibility. Star-Lord and Gamora's reunion was awkward. On the other side, Hawkeye was dodging with a gauntlet. Although Thanos destroyed the quantum tunnel, there was a small one in Ant-Man's van, but it needed 10 to start. So, they had to relay the gauntlet. Black Panther immediately took the first handoff. Then Hawkeye passed the gauntlet to Black Panther, who fought enemies, unleashing his suit's kinetic energy to clear a path. Thanos threw a blade, knocking down Black Panther. As Thanos was about to seize the gauntlet, Scarlet Witch descended. Make Thanos pay for her loss. Every time she lost a loved one, she went berserk, and this time was no exception. Thanos couldn't withstand her power, leading to the scene of her tearing him apart. As she was about to finish him, Thanos ordered his ship to fire, showing his ruthlessness. Even if it meant heavy losses, Thanos would. Decisions benefiting himself, a true cosmic overlord. Under the ship's bombardment, both sides were devastated. One moment, Scarlet Witch almost killed Thanos. Ebony Maw used magic to trap Black Panther in the air. Spider-Man swung in, grabbed the gauntlet, and activated instant kill mode, overwhelmed by enemies. Thor threw his hammer, lifting him into the air. As he was about to fall, Pepper caught him and tossed him to Valkyrie. Both were hit by missiles. After the missile barrage, the situation was dire. Suddenly, the ship turned its gun skyward. A golden light shot from atmosphere towards Thanos' ship. It was Captain Marvel, the ship destroyer, who obliterated the massive ship in seconds, leaving Thanos stunned. Scott activated the quantum tunnel. Gold Team took the gauntlet from Parker and, with the female team's cover, rushed to the tunnel. Thanos came to stop them, and Pepper and others supported. Just as Gold Team was about to enter, Thanos destroyed the tunnel with a knife. After an explosion, the gauntlet fell before Thanos. Tony rushed to grab it but was knocked away. Thor and Cap chased him. As Thanos was about to snap, the army stopped him. Thanos wasn't a match in strength. He tried a headbutt to break free, but it was useless. Thanos was at a disadvantage. Desperate, he grabbed the Power Stone, punched the army away instantly. No one could stop Thanos now. Doctor Strange signaled Tony, who realized he was the only chance. When Thanos put on the gauntlet again, Tony rushed to snatch it but was knocked down. Thanos snapped, but nothing happened. The stones were gone. Tony had them. Tony proved what it means to stand with gods. His arc reactor absorbed a significant amount of the energy generated by the stones, allowing him to control the power of the 6 Infinity Stones. He snapped Thanos' army out of existence. After the Iron Man snapped, watching the army disappear, Thanos accepted his fate, turning to dust. The battle was won, but Iron Man, who always protected his loved ones and Earth, left us forever. I Am Iron Man marked his start and end. Marvel's decade began and ended with him. He opened and concluded Marvel's peak era. After the battle, superheroes gathered for Tony's funeral. The Russo brothers said Endgame wasn't Black Widow's farewell, and she'd return in Black Widow. But Iron Man has truly left us. Some say Iron Man was ready to sacrifice when he made the nanogauntlet, but Jack thinks he was ready the moment he became Iron Man. Though it's hard to let go, consider his admiration beyond emotions. We see this might be the best way to handle a hero's value after peaking. Freezing them in such a moment lets fans keep the highest respect and love for this epic hero. Thor returned to Asgard, giving the throne to Valkyrie, as Mother's advice helped him realize he should be true to himself, not others' expectations. So, he joined the Guardians to keep peace in the universe. Finally, the captain returned the stones and Mjolnir to their timelines, but came back, passing the shield to Falcon, completing the role transition. Meanwhile, Falcon realized his lifelong battles fulfilled his regrets, as he took Tony's advice to spend his days with the woman he loves. The end of Avengers 4 took away 2 of the 3 main heroes. Tony died, and the captain aged. But this doesn't mean the superhero legend ends. It just marks the end of an era. I still hope Iron Man can return in the future.